Hi everyone, I am Faustina Wiggins, environmental statistician of the CARICOM Secretariat Regional Statistics Program. I will be presenting on the climate change regional frameworks, the CARICOM subregional experience on regional frameworks which are relevant to climate change and disaster statistics. To provide a background, we believe that for a government to plan and monitor the impact of its policies, it must be able to benchmark data and see year on year progress. Since the inception of the work of the Regional Statistics Program, a major focus has been placed on economic statistics. However, the compilation of environmental statistics and indicators was initiated with the commencement of a collaborative project between the United Nations Statistical Division and the CARICOM Secretariat in 1999 to 2004, which was entitled Strengthening Capacity in the Compilation of Statistics and Indicators for Conference Follow-up in the CARICOM region. This project was executed with the participation of CARICOM member states. The objectives of the United Nations Statistical Division CARICOM project include to follow up major international conferences through making available relevant statistics and indicators for monitoring, to strengthen the capacity of national and regional statistical offices to collect and analyze statistical information, to establish a network of experts to improve interregional cooperation, to provide a preliminary review and assessment of the availability of statistics with respect to issues that were the focus of these conferences, and to agree on a list of environment issues and corresponding statistics and indicators to be collected jointly by the United Nations Statistical Division and CARICOM. Some of the key results from the UNSD CARICOM project include a needs assessment was conducted in countries in 1999, the commencement of a workshop in 2000 in Belize, where staff in member states were trained in the compilation of environment statistics. A report was produced and disseminated, which is called the CARICOM Environment in Figures 2002, focusing on areas such as coastal zones, tourism, natural disasters, air, climate, and biodiversity. A number of countries also produced environment compendia during this project, and the first advisory group on statistics was established in order to sustain the compilation of statistics in this area post the project. Over the years, we have conducted a number of capacity building activities, and these focused on the documentation of methodology and the adoption of the framework for the development of environment statistics. A number of training workshops have been held in collaboration with our international partners for the national statistical offices. A number of in-country technical assistance activities took place in selected countries which focused on interagency collaboration, the establishment of a technical working group in environment statistics, and an assessment of data availability by country and indicators. In relation to regional frameworks in the Caribbean disasters and climate change context, regional frameworks originate from the overarching agreements on the priority areas and actions for addressing challenges emanating from the major international conferences on sustainable development since 1990. These include Agenda 21, the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, the Barbados Program of Action for Sustainable Development of Small Island States, the World Summit on Sustainable Development in 2002, the Nassau Declaration, I will go that again, take 3, in relation to regional frameworks in the Caribbean disasters and climate change context. Regional frameworks originate from the overarching agreements on the priority areas and action for addressing challenges emanating from the major international conferences on sustainable development since 1990. These include Agenda 21, the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, the Barbados Program of Action for the Sustainable Development of Small Island States, the World Summit on Sustainable Development, the Nassau Declaration and Strategy Paper. This was in preparation for the Mauritius Conference, the Mauritius Strategy of Implementation, and the Small Islands Accelerated Modality of Action Pathway 2014. In relation to disaster statistics, the Hyogo Framework 2005-2015 and Sendai Framework 2015 to 2030. At the regional level, the following are the major frameworks in relation to Caribbean disasters and the climate change context. The Regional Framework for Achieving Development Resilient to Climate Change, which articulates the strategy of the Caribbean Community on Climate Change. There's the Caribbean Disaster and Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, Enhanced Comprehensive Disaster Management Frameworks for 2007 to 2012 and 2014 to 2024. The Strategic Plan of the Caribbean Community 2015 to 2019, which highlights the priority area of environment, climate change, and disaster management and the linkages to the Sustainable Development Goals. There was the Millennium Development Goals and Caribbean-specific indicators for the Millennium Development Goals. And currently, there's the Sustainable Development Goals Indicator Framework. Frameworks and effective indicators. Frameworks help to ensure that indicators are relevant and it meets the needs of users. One of the characteristics of effective indicators is relevance. The CARICOM Core Indicators development process ensures the relevance of indicators. This is done in that experts have identified key issues and selected indicators and statistics which are relevant to these issues. These key issues were outlined in key regional frameworks. Indicators were also reviewed with regards to their relevance for the CARICOM member states, and policymakers were invited to comment on indicators and the resulting publication. I go that again. Policymakers were invited to comment on the indicators and their resulting publication in various compendia. The CARICOM region, led by the CARICOM Secretariat, placed the post-2015 development process on the agenda of the Standing Committee of Caribbean Statisticians, an advisory group on statistics meetings since 2013. They also contributed to discussions at the United Nations Statistical Commission meetings. They have held joint regional meetings with other organizations with a cross-section of agencies such as the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the Pan American Health Organization, and the Caribbean Development Bank attended. I will repeat that. They also held joint regional meetings with other organizations at which a cross-section of agencies such as the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the Pan American Health Organization, and the Caribbean Development Bank attended. They have convened several meetings and virtual meetings to engage or to train personnel from the national statistical offices and other stakeholders of member states and associate member states in reviewing the preliminary Sustainable Development Goals indicators in the context of regional and national priorities and the identification of a draft core set of indicators for the region. They have also formed a technical working group on the Sustainable Development Goals as endorsed by the Standing Committee of Caribbean Statisticians in order to refine and develop the core Sustainable Development Goals indicators. The CARICOM Council for Human and Social Development approved a list of 125 CARICOM core indicators, which includes 21 environmentally related indicators. This is so since the Global Sustainable Development Goals indicator list includes 17 goals, 169 targets, and 240 plus indicators. The CARICOM Regional Statistics Program disseminated a report on the CARICOM core indicators for the Sustainable Development Goals, an assessment of data availability in member states and associate members, in which the national statistical offices contributed to this report. Our recommendations. Over the past 2 decades or more, the CARICOM experience on regional frameworks have concluded that countries need to organize specifically the metadata, the mapping of methodology, definitions, data sources, and perform data quality checks on environment statistics and connect these to the Sustainable Development Goals and climate change and hazardous events. Countries also need to strengthen the knowledge on Sustainable Development Goals, definitions, and metadata, and the linkages between environmental indicators, climate change indicators, the Sendai indicators, and Sustainable Development Goals metadata, data, and indicators. There also needs to be stronger memorandum of understanding between national statistics offices and agencies, a better use of data which are already available from the existing administrative sources. Countries need to be encouraged to produce the minimum set of core environmental indicators. We also need to continue to strengthen capacity in member states as tracking the progress on new goals and frameworks will increase the demands on often hard-pressed National Statistics Office. There needs to be increased interagency collaboration and the provision of support for the filling of data gaps and the compilation of metadata in countries. We also need to collaborate with international and regional organizations to strengthen these areas of environment statistics, climate change statistics, and disaster statistics, looking possibly at specific themes. And finally, there needs to be a dedicated environment, climate change, and disaster statistics personnel in national statistics offices. Thank you.